What's good, y'all? Fuzion here, back with another reaction video. It's been a while, but I will be doing some videos on the finals. I did a video yesterday, just doing our predictions, all that type of stuff there. Anyway, uh, Celtics versus Mavs. Celtics won game one, 107 to 89. Um, it was a relatively low scoring game. Jaylen Brown, he ended the night with 22, 6, and 2. Jason Tatum, he ended with 16 and 11. Porzingis is back, and he played great. He had 26 and 3 blocks. Shot 2 for 4 from the 3. And then he has 15 from Derek White, 12 from Drew Holiday, and 10 from Al Horford. Overall, just a pretty good scoring night from the starters. They came out early, bust them in the mouth, pause. Got some good offensive rebounds. You saw the energy well with the Celtics. Really good rim protection. I think they had like 12 blocks on the night. So overall, just a good game from the Celtics. Dallas, Luka had 30 and 10. Kyrie had 12. PJ Washington, he had 14 and 8. And Josh Hardy came with 13 and 3. Overall, just low scoring from Dallas. They really couldn't get it going. Again, they came out sort of flat, not really finding their stride in their shots until later on in the game. Dallas ended the night shooting 26% from the 3, 7 for 27, and Boston ended 16 and 42, 38% from the 3. The assist numbers, they were very, very different. Dallas had 23 assists. Boston had 23 assists. Dallas had 9 assists. You even saw like the great passes from the Celtics and had a lot of good catch and shoot opportunities, especially in that first and second quarter where they just couldn't miss any threes. Fast break points, Boston 10, Dallas 6. The blocks, Dallas had 1 block on the night. Boston had 9 blocks, 10 offensive rebounds for both. 37 defensive rebounds, Boston, 33 for Dallas. 18 points off of turnovers for Boston, 13 for Dallas. Overall, I do think that the game was a good game. It did take a while for, again, Dallas to get going. Luka got started a little bit. PJ Washington started scoring. But still, adding Porzingis, who can hit that mid-range shot, who consistently hit that mid-range shot from the elbow, it just made it hard for the Mavs to really get something going. I think defensively, they're gonna have to change their strategy. They're gonna have to find some height somewhere to guard. Excuse me. Someone to guard Porzingis. They need some more offense from somewhere. Kyrie had an off night. He needs to be at least at the 20-25 mark for them to be competitive, and they need to find some more points somewhere else. But that's all for the stats and what I saw from the game. Let's go ahead and see what JJ Redick has to say.
And the Celtics were able to rest starters and largely cruise to a Game 1 victory. And the three-point shooting was a huge story.
So here are the contested and wide open three-pointers. Open three-pointers. Mavs were just awful. 4 for 14. With some contested shots. 3 for 13. It was just overall just a hard shooting night. They score 7 threes. You're not going to win many games if you make 7 threes and shoot 27 of them. Um, Now the Celtics did shoot hella threes, but they were hitting threes, especially early on, and that sort of that 30-point lead really gave them like a cushion, and it helped like the Celtics keep that cushion, even when the Mavs were scoring in that third, fourth quarter. Still doesn't matter. It just was too big of a deficit for them to make up
in this game, and it's a huge reason why both these teams are on to the finals. Dallas just 3 of 13 on open three-point looks after they connected on a 40% clip in the conference finals. Meanwhile, the C's, you see over 40% on contested threes in game one. Time now for the post-game report. JJ Redick and Doris Burke join me from Boston. Good evening to you both. And it was really a flurry there in that first quarter. And JJ, as a guy that made his living shooting the three, when you see a couple go in, how does it sort of turn into a feeding frenzy for the whole group?
It feels like an avalanche, and the Boston Celtics, particularly at home, we've seen them do this time and time again. They set records this year for the most wins by 25 or more, the most times leading by 20 or more within a game. This is what they do, and this is the math problem for the Dallas Mavericks. And there's a clear game plan from the Boston Celtics on the defensive side. Look, Kyrie and Luka Doncic, they're going to self-create. If you can take away corner threes and the lob dunk out of pick and roll, you're going to have a lot more success against this team trying to slow them down.
DB, the avalanche.
Yep, I agree. That has always been the issue with the Mavs. They can never find timely scoring if Luka and Kyrie aren't hitting. They need to be the bulk of the offensive load. They have to create for themselves. They need that, or they're not going to be competitive. You saw a lot of rebounding issues as well. And Kristaps Porzingis was a hell of a player. He was a rim protector. He altered a lot of shots, forcing people to take harder shots than what they are trying to take. And I think that just overall made it harder for the Mavs to really do anything. They'd go to the basket. Kristaps Porzingis would just wall them up and force them to take a hard layup, either blocking it or like completely altering of the shot. Jaylen Brown, he was active on the defensive end as well. We had 3 steals. He was being an irritant to Luka. I did see a few times where he did force Luka to give the ball up. Kyrie was also being well defended as well. So overall, I think on like the defensive side, as you can tell by the numbers, Mavs only had 89 points. So that defense was very apparent in this Celtics team.
On offense was one thing, and JJ just alluded to the defense. And I think it becomes such a low-hanging fruit to talk about the experience and the familiarity with the stage. Do you buy that any of that plays into what Boston was able to do this evening in the Game 1 victory?
I thought there were moments in the first quarter where a couple of the guys on Dallas who hadn't been in this level of a game yet in particular showed it. But I have to give one point about the Dallas defense, right? We have spent the latter part of this season going to their 16-4 sprint to the finish. And all throughout these playoffs, we've given them a ton of kudos about the defensive end of the floor, Scott.
Yep.
Boston has fought all year for their spacing. And I thought in the third quarter, Scott, right, when all of a sudden those threes weren't falling, Tatum and Brown refused to settle, and Dallas's inability to contain the ball, and this was a theme throughout the night, but in particular, when things got a little bit tighter in that third quarter, their ability to get by. First thing Dallas has to do to me is start to contain the ball as well, because that's when it starts to pop around the floor, and that's when that avalanche sets in.
Doris, I'll stay with you just for a thought on Porzingis. In his media session earlier in the week, he was a little coy, smiling about, availability, and I think we all wondered. There was no minutes restriction, but I frankly didn't know what to expect. Did you expect to see that kind of flurry of punch?
Yeah, just real quick. He came out hitting shots. He came out being efficient. He came out and won the game for the Celtics. I think without his easy scoring, his instant offense that he can create for himself just from getting on that elbow and hitting that shot, forcing the defender to make decisions as far as will he get the jump shot or will he backdoor cut easy for the dunk. You saw a lot of great cuts also from Drew Holiday. He passed and cut. He had a couple easy layups at the basket, but a lot of that was because of Porzingis. You have to keep into account that he can make that mid-range shot consistently, and they didn't really think that he was going to be doing that. Me neither, honestly. I thought that it was going to take him maybe like a game or two to really get back into the flow, but he came out hitting, and Mavs just couldn't keep up.
Just from Porzingis?
Listen, JJ and Legs can talk about this better than me, but to me the thing that shocked me is that's a calf injury. That can be terribly frightening. And from the moment he stepped between the lines, he was sprinting for chase down blocks like he was so confident in his body. And that to me was the telltale sign that he was going to be able to be the force he was. The couple of threes he made from like 29 feet.
Right.
His impact has been critical on both ends. To me, he's unlocked so much, Scott. And I just love the joy he plays with, the smile that's always on his face. It's fun to watch.
JJ, I want to give you a final word. I love wherever you talk about basketball, pods here, wherever, about just the game and breaking things down. If you're Dallas, you know what the conversation will be. What adjustments do you make? Frankly, I think there are things that aren't adjustable to. I don't know if that's put very eloquently. I just want to know if you're Dallas, what do you do differently?
Look, I think where Boston has an advantage is that they can create mismatches defensively, whether it's Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic. They have size against Josh Green when he comes off the bench. They don't want to put two on the ball. Sometimes they have to. Doris's point about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just putting their head down and driving the basketball and creating opportunities for their teammate in that third quarter, it changed the game. I do have a final word, though, Scott.
Yeah.
I do have one final word. And I just want to say how proud I am of my teammate, Doris Burke, who made history tonight, calling this NBA Finals game. Look, I'm a newbie at this. I called my first tonight. It's meaningless in the grand scheme of things. What she did tonight is historic. I am so proud of her. I love you. It's so great working with you.
Don't make me cry. You know you're the best teammate, so thank you.
Right on. DB.
Shout out to Doris Burke, man. But yeah, overall, I think the Mavs can't really change much. They just need to hit shots. As far as what you can do against like the Celtics, I don't think that the Mavs have a good enough roster to beat a fully healthy Celtics, especially with Kristaps Porzingis hitting those shots like consistently. The only way to win is if the Mavs hit those jump shots. They are a jump shooting team. Of course, like they do have some players that can cut and get backdoor lobs and all that type of stuff, but they don't have the size to do that. They don't have any way to consistently do that. So they need to hit those shots, force them out, hit them, box out, crash the boards. I think that they had a couple easy turnovers that could be easily fixed if they do decide to do that. But overall, they need to find a way to keep a consistent scoring threat out there. They couldn't do that. Kyrie wasn't hitting, and it just caused bleeding from then But that's all I got. Personally, for Game 2, I could see Dallas making some adjustments, but I still got Boston in Game 2. I think that the Mavs will figure it out in Game 3. I mean, I still got the Mavs in 6, but this has been an eye-opening game from the Celtics. Like, they played great. But that's all I got for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to see you guys later. Peace.